Could I shoot a hummingbird? I had shot everything else in sight. Dogs, cats, doves, crows, sparrows, chicharras, dragonflies, and even ants. But a hummingbird is no more than 2 inches long and flies in quick zigzag jolts. And they're hard to find, too. I knew of a bright blue hummingbird 2 blocks from my house. One Friday, walking home after school, I decided to take a different road and saw Mrs. Flores staring at something in her flower bush. She was the oldest woman in town and lived by herself and always gave out the best Halloween candy. Her lawn was covered with every plant that had flowers. When you walked by her house, it was like walking by the women's perfume department in a big store, but the scents didn't sting your nose. They made you dizzy. I stopped to watch her, and she caught my eye and waved me over, but gestured for me to be quiet. I wasn't sure what she was looking at, and as I walked up to her very slowly, she pointed at the bush. I followed the imaginary line from her crooked, bony finger to a hovering hummingbird. We watched it dart from flower to flower and then dash away with a blur. Miss Flores smiled. "Isn't that bird beautiful?" I nodded. "Yes, Mrs. Flores." "Does it live in that bush?" "I'm not sure where he lives, but I always see him in the morning when I'm watering the flowers. I think he likes flowers with dew flavor." She smiled and brought her hands together in thanks. I went home and practiced shooting wooden clothespins off the clothesline. They were about the size of a hummingbird, but they were still hummingbirds. Never are. When I'd shoot, I noticed the BB coming out of the barrel would have a slight curve, and I kept missing the clothespin. This called for my pellet rifle. The soft lead pellets were more expensive, but I needed complete accuracy. I went inside the house, and Mom was cooking in the kitchen. "What are you doing?" she asked in a suspicious tone. "Nothing. I'm just going to shoot some cans with my pellet gun." She narrowed her eyes and nodded. "Huerco, you better be shooting cans." My pellet rifle was a straight shooter, and I broke every clothespin on the clothesline. My mother came outside, saw what I had done, and shook her head. "Huerco sonso." I borrowed my father's travel alarm clock and set it for sunrise. When I left the house, everyone was still asleep, and outside it was cool and peaceful, and there was still dew on the plants. A good sign, I thought. I strolled the quiet streets with my pellet gun and hoped that Mrs. Flores was not watering her plants. I walked by her house slowly, and when I didn't see her, I walked into her yard and went straight for the bush. I kept one eye on the front of her house and one eye on the bush, searching for the bluebird. I stood very still, and then I saw it float and weave between the thin twigs. I took aim at the chest, followed the fast wings for a minute, and then fired. The wings stopped, and the hummingbird fell like a feather. I picked up the little body and felt the warmth in my palm. And then an overwhelming sense of guilt. I needed someone to yell at me. I needed someone to tell me what I did was wrong. I sat on Mrs. Flores' concrete porch, so when she stepped out and saw I had killed her little flower bird, She could wring my neck.